Good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me today on the first day of November. It's very exciting. And today I've got a special guest with me, one of my very first clients, Mike Sheldrake. He'll be joining me in a minute, but I always ask for you to please type in where you're joining me from around the world. And today I want you to tell me what's one thing you're looking forward to at the start of a new month. So just type that in for me and let me know where you're joining in from, and then what are you looking forward to in this November. And then I will take your questions at the end, but I've got Mike is here waiting all the way from Long Beach, and he is early. It's early in the morning. There he is. Good morning, Mike. Whoops, I have to add you. Add Mike to my right. There you go. Hey,
Okay.
Mike.
What's up?
I am thrilled to have you here today, my friend. I know it is early. It's not as early because it's in California. It's not exactly 6 a.m. really. So, but you're
Well,
up
it's
early
kind of
every day, huh?
well, it's kind of odd to be up this early without a golf club in my hand, but yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, my friend. A lot of people don't know who the heck you are, and tell me a little bit. Notice I said a little bit about you. So, who are you, and what have you done?
Especially coffee roaster retailer. Been in the business 44 years. We are a neighborhood roaster, and we take care of restaurants. We sell on the internet, and we bake all of our own pastries. So we have a nice little shop going.
Yeah, I think so. And how did you and I come to know each other, my friend?
Well, I believe that you came in with your friend who was a customer, and at the time you were a tea drinker.
That's right.
and you were just starting your business, and we got to talking, and you said you could help me, and I said, what do you know about coffee? And you said, not a darn thing, but what do you know about business? And I said, well, probably not as much as I thought I did. And I remember you offered to do a analysis of the store, and if we didn't come up with 10 things we could use, you'd just walk away. And you came up with 85 things, and
And
we
you
went
didn't,
from there.
and you let me hang there, by the way, if you remember. Like, I gave it to you, I think, on a Thursday, and like Monday, I'm still like, did the guy just get totally demoralized? Which is probably
Yes,
possible, but yeah.
we had to wipe all the tear stains off the document before we could turn it back to you. It was a real shock,
That was
but
a little rough. That was a little rough, but we had a great
yeah,
partnership. And one of the
yeah.
things I like about Mike in particular is I remember thinking a guy walked out and Mike is talking to him for a long time. And I go, "How long you known that guy?" And he's like, "Oh, I just met him." Well, that's Mike. The thing
Yeah,
about Mike Sheldrake, if he is genuine, if nothing else, and one of the things that I think is so important to understand, Mike, you're also one of the founding members of Special Coffee Association, which is oddly enough, probably part of the reason why Starbucks was able to dominate things, right?
that's
Because
right.
there were
Yeah,
standards there. What was it like before with coffee and specialty coffee? Did you guys just
there
do whatever the hell you
was
wanted?
there was no way to. It was very difficult to get information because the people who are already established in the business didn't want to talk to you. And the only way you could get that information was to know somebody. I had a mentor who was the person who taught Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf how to run the business. And the other way was just go to the trade shows and walk the floors. And we were surviving only because we were the first one there. We really weren't doing a very good job in the beginning, but we were doing better than anybody else. So we got through that.
Well, and
The
you're still the guy everybody goes through to find out how am I supposed to roast this. I don't want to minimize 44 years in business, folks at home. Give I think I even have a sound effect for you. Let's do that. Uh, 44 years, you've seen it all, you've heard it all. And I
oh
love some
man,
of your stories. I want you to tell me about, one of them comes to mind. You were telling me about when you first started out, you were in Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? That's what, and people were saying they couldn't get, you couldn't get employees to do the things that you were supposed to. They couldn't wear hairnets, right? Isn't there a famous
oh
story?
yeah, no. The thing was that was back in the early '70s, and long hair was the big deal. And so we couldn't hire people and get them to cut their hair.
Right.
So the boss said, okay, you can either wear a hairnet or you can wear a wig. So they all wore wigs, but none of them washed them. So after you've had a wig in a Kentucky Fried Chicken store for a couple of days, it got to be a pretty bad thing. I was glad to leave that environment.
Well, and the comment that you said is, well, Disneyland can get them to wear them.
That's right. That's right. And I don't know how Disneyland had that discipline to do that, but they had to do it to fulfill their image.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And these small restaurant operators, KFC and so forth, they didn't think they had the leverage to require the employees to do what was needed.
That's
Big,
right. We can't ask that of them, right?
no, no,
Right, right.
they won't like us.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you pick any stories you have of what it was like to be a business. And Mike is, if nothing else, Mike has got a story for it. I could,
Yeah.
I could tell you if we get around to it, I'll tell you the story he told me before he signed the first agreement with me. When it took me 3 times to finally get him to. I'm either. Well, actually, why don't you tell? Do you remember that story?
I don't know the story you're talking about, but I'll tell it to you from my side of the
That's good.
table.
This is about
Okay.
them understanding, hearing from you. So good.
So you gave me those 85 things, okay? And my family and I sat down and looked at them, and a great number of them were things we knew we should be doing anyway, but we didn't do that because we didn't have any type of a structure to force us to do that, no corporate structure. And as you know, I like to play golf. So is it make the store better or go play golf? There were a few things that you brought up that just weren't going to happen. They just didn't fit with what we were doing. But that last set of items, I looked at and I said, whoa, I never thought of that. Whoa, I never thought of that. So my wife said, what are you going to do? I said, well, we're going out of business anyway, so I'm going to hire him and I'll have someone to blame.
I don't remember you. Well, I see. I wasn't there with you and Cindy, so there you go.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember the first employee meeting we had
Oh, all too
where
well. I tell that story often. Go ahead.
yeah, where you put a pile of money out on the floor in front of the employees and said, this is what you're stealing from Mike every day, because every employee had a special deal with every customer. You buy a latte, you get a free muffin, all right? And the excess money goes in the tip jar. They're all running their business on my inventory. You said, this stops now. We charge full price right now. And if you don't do it, you're going to be fired. And if we have a witness, you're going to be prosecuted. And one employee quit on the spot. The next employee quit the next morning. All the customers left. They were mad. And I said, okay, here we go. But I can blame El Diablo. Remember, that was your nickname then. Yeah. And some things never change. My sales went up 11% in 7 days without making a change. And as you know, over the course of the next 9 months, the sales went up 45%. So
Well, it's
thank
a
you.
testament to you, my friend, because you were willing. I think when I don't care how big a brand I work with, how small a brand, if the owner isn't willing to change, if you're willing to say, if you fight it, if you say like,
Yeah.
no, the one thing that you
Yeah.
kind of gave me was free reign with your store, Mike, which
Right. Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah. Yeah. The
both of
first
us were
90 days.
pretty trusting, but
Yeah.
I think the thing that happened also with us, Mike, is results breed more results. Wouldn't you agree? Like
Exactly.
as you
Exactly.
saw it
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah. Yeah.
encouraged. You were coming to work. If you remember, you were actually on the zone diet with me. We were both losing weight to
Still working that one though.
still working that one. Not as hard. Not as hard.
Yeah.
Well,
But
and also, I don't want to. Mike has so many talents. He's also been the head of the Belmont Shore Business Association. So you've dealt with small entrepreneurs, small retailers in an awful lot of different capacities, especially coffee station, etc. So, what
right.
would be a few tips that you think people maybe shoot themselves in the foot with, or need to change to be able to stay in business for as long as you have? What?
Okay. Here's the deal. As you say, I was head of the business association, 14 blocks of small retailers. Almost everybody opened a business because they were enamored with the product and they didn't know anything about business. And they would just sit on a stool and say, woe is me, shop with me because I'm small. No, they shop with you because you can pivot and you can give them better quality and better service for what they've invested. And there are so many secrets to being successful in small business, but one of the main ones is know your numbers. Because if you don't know your numbers, you don't have a business, you have a hobby.
All right, hold that thought. I have to share a quick Mike story. So Mike and I go to this sandwich shop. You probably remember it. It's on It's on Redondo, just north of
Yeah,
Third Street. And we
yeah,
hear that this new sandwich shop has gone in, and so the
yeah.
guy makes the sandwich, and they were great sandwiches. They were like something you get at
Oh,
Carnegie
yeah,
Deli. And
yeah,
as we're walking out, Mike goes, "He'll be gone in 3 months. He has no idea what his food costs are." And sure
yeah.
enough, they were gone in 3 months.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, know your numbers. And you have to understand that your customer first purchases you and then they purchase your product. First they buy into you and then they buy into your product. So you have to make every customer part of the family.
Well, and to add to that, everybody who meets Mike will fall in love with Mike. Mike comes off as the most genuine guy you will find on the planet. The challenge is Mike's on the golf course a lot of time. He doesn't, 45 years in business, you got to have other people that are willing and capable of doing that. And one of the things that we
Yeah.
did was we pretty much, if you remember, we got rid of your entire crew within
Oh
a
God,
month
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
through hook or crook, and then
Yeah.
trained a whole new group of people. And then you actually started doing coffee 101. We started having coffee classes to demystify the whole process and bring
Right?
people in, which is really the whole way that social media works right now, Mike. We were so ahead of the game. It's like build a
Yeah.
tribe, make sure that
Right?
you're the expert, and they will follow
Yep.
you.
Yep. Yep. Very briefly, we had 3 3 month sequences that in that time. You and I walked through the store with a tape recorder, and you made me justify every item in the store. If I couldn't justify it, we got rid of it. Remember the spices went out?
All too well.
After we defined the image or the dream for the store, we communicated that to the employees. And the employees that didn't buy into it, well, they had to go through a 5 day training session, pass a 100 question test, and then if they didn't pass with 80%, they either got retrained or let go. We started with 14 people and we handed out 65 W-2s. So we went through a lot of people. Once we got employees who bought into the product, bought into the dream, then we remodeled the store to match what we were selling. And then the third thing was we marketed ourselves as the local store, and Starbucks was ordinary and we were down the street from ordinary.
And people kept telling you to change because that was our tagline, down the street from ordinary, and it
Yeah,
was like, oh, you got to change it, and you said the same thing that a lot of times we get tired of our marketing messages
yeah,
before our customers do.
true. Yeah, you always get tired of your marketing message before your customers do. There's research that says that they have to see your message 3 times before they react on it, but they only see it a third of the time it's presented. So you have to put it out there 25 or 30
Yeah,
times
exactly. Now
and stay with it.
you've had some horror stories and some employees who you just thought were like so great, and then like something happened, and you realize like, oh my god, I had blind faith in this person. Do you have any stories like
Oh,
that?
oh yeah, I had a general manager who I thought was just really doing great and really working well for me. And behind the scenes, product was leaving and illicit relationships were being formed.
Oh my god.
And I was on a business trip and got a text message from the general manager said, "I'm gone. I'm never going to see you again. I quit."
Oh,
Then I had a lady baking pastry for me, and she purchased all the pastries, and we were doing great, and we were buying them and selling them. And she quit and she left. We kept buying pastry at her order level. And we were pretty soon up to our hips in pastries because she was buying enough for her husband to come in and take the product and sell it to other restaurants around town. We were supplying her business. You get that big and small from everybody. Everybody cuts a corner. Everybody gives something away, and you've got to be on it. It's just part of the retail
yeah,
experience.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so you've been so gracious with your time, Mike. I don't want to keep you because there's probably a golf game that's probably starting on a Sunday morning. What keeps you going though, dude? I mean, you could have hung this in. You could have. My goodness, we were 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
what gets you
Yeah.
up in the morning to keep wanting to do it?
It's exciting, and I enjoy it, and I get good positive feedback from it. And what else am I going to do? Get up at 6 in the morning and talk to you?
Well, we just did that. Well, listen, everybody. I expect you to, again, yeah, build the tribe and be the expert. That's exactly it. So I want to thank Mike for joining me today. Mike, we haven't chatted in a number of years, and it's always great to see you, my friend. And good health, and say hi to Cindy and to the rest of your family for me.
Yeah, and I always tell people if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in business. So
Oh, well,
thank
you're
you.
too generous. Thank you. I appreciate it. You do the hard work, my friend. Everybody,
Yeah,
give
you.
hand for Mike. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Well, there you have it. That was Mike Sheldrake, one of my first clients, long, long ago. And I just thought you would be, since we're not getting as many questions anymore, it's like shine the light on somebody else. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is to find enough people out there that say, yes, we can do this together. And I will look at your comments over here. Hey, glad you're here, Caro. Thank you. Oh, great. Thanks, Joanne. I'm glad you're there. My camera is a little off this morning. It's only I have to look this way, and so looking at your comments is a little much. So I'll go over here and look real quick. What are you guys looking forward to? I asked you at the beginning. What are you looking forward to today? Looking forward to a slower season to begin getting ready for spring 2021. Well, yeah, that's Alex. You guys had a crazy day. What'd you get out of listening to Mike this morning? What'd you get out of listening to Mike? Put it in there in the comments. Let me know if that's interesting to you, because I've flirted with the idea of having an interview show. We thought about maybe I'd do it at night. Maybe I'd go through, because it is so early for East Coast, for West Coast people. I usually miss out on people joining me live. So, what'd you get out of today? What's one thing you liked about hearing from Mike? Did you take any inspiration from it? What did you take from that? That would be great to know. And just remember that you too probably have employees like Mike had as well, who you're thinking are your best buds, and then they're gone, and then suddenly the stories come out of the woodwork. I never would shop with them again, with you again, because they were so rude, or they treated me this way, or this happened, or that happened. And sometimes we think of our crew as our family, which is why we don't fire them or hold them accountable. And we think that it's a mutual relationship, but unfortunately, there are a group of people that can understand that it's not mutual, and that they'll see an opportunity and then take it. Tristan, watch the money that sneaks out the door. That's very true. Jill, going to do more marketing. We aren't ordinary. We aren't Amazon. That's right. Looking forward to changing my store. That's great. Roberta, the dead merch has to go. That was one of the things I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, Mike had a lot of different product on his shelves. And it's like, justify, why is this here? How does this fit into the mix? Because if you don't know, I can guarantee it's not making you money, and it's time we turn that money into something else rather than leave it dead on a shelf somewhere. Love the product justification, the employee test. That's great. Alex, it's okay to make changes and for the better. Heidi, you love Mike. Nice to have a special guest. Interesting how we evolved and recovered. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Roberta, acknowledge and make mistakes right. The truth hurts, Cheryl. That's right. Yeah, imagine I give him the proposal. It's like, this is what it's going to cost to work for me. And then silence for a whole weekend. And I walk back in like, are we working together? He's like, yeah, it's going to be exciting, but it's such a big change. And for Mike to be open to that, if Mike can do it, you can do it. And again, he is the one that we went up ultimately 50% that first year, 40% the next, and got him all kinds of publicity and a story in the New York Times, all because he was willing to say, it hurts more for me to stay where I am than to reach out to the future. And he's loving life, and he's a great guy, and I appreciate you all listening to him as well this morning. I'm going to let you go. It's the start of a new month. We got a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, and hope that should be building in all of us as we come into a holiday that's going to be different than any other. But remember, from what you learned from Mike, you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to say, yeah, I'm in it to win it. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. And if you get anything out of what we're saying here, then please do me a favor and share it with your friends, because it's the only way I can grow my audience and help more people, because we can change the world by the people working and shopping in retail. Thanks for joining me. Bye.